Canadians are furious at Donald Trump's threats of blanket tariffs of 25% to be imposed on Canada on day one, whether you're from the Liberal Party, Conservative Party, or NDP Party, the New Democratic Party in Canada. I think all parties are absolutely livid at this. Emergency meetings are being scheduled right now in Canada. You have leaders of the Conservative Party like Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, saying that he feels absolutely betrayed. His exact words were, "It's like a family member stabbing you in the heart." And Doug Ford, one of the Conservative Party leaders in Canada, again, he's the Premier of Ontario, he's been saying all these positive things about Donald Trump. Back in 2016, he said his support of Donald Trump was unwavering. And what's interesting is the Conservative Party in Canada has been kind of parroting a lot of that MAGA populist-esque type message, but now they feel absolutely betrayed. But let me just show you the overall pissed off reaction by Canadians across the board, feeling betrayed by their neighbors right now. But specifically, it's also the language that Donald Trump used. And we saw that with Mexico as well, with Claudia Sheinbaum's response to Donald Trump, the president of Mexico. I mean, Trump saying that our neighbors are drug dealers and they're the ones bringing fentanyl in, when in fact about 88% of the fentanyl that comes into the United States are coming from Americans. In addition, Americans represent about 99.9% of the consumers of synthetic drugs. So take a look right here. This is an exchange yesterday between Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the New Democratic Party, and the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. Let's play this clip right here.
Donald Trump's threats of tariffs could threaten hundreds of thousands of Canadian mortgage-paying jobs. The only thing a bully responds to is strength. So where is our plan to fight back? Where is the war room? Where is a concrete plan to bring our issue before CUSMA? Why isn't the Prime Minister fighting like hell for Canadian jobs?
Hear, 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 hear. Mr. Speaker, rather than panicking, we're engaging in constructive ways to protect Canadian jobs like we have before. I don't think the idea of going to war with the United States is what anyone wants. What we will.
Now, here is the Deputy Prime Minister, Chrystia Freeland of Canada, saying, "Let me be clear, we will impose retaliatory tariffs against the United States if they go and do this to us here in Canada." Take a listen to this. Let's play the clip.
Let me be clear. In imposing these tariffs, the United States has taken the absurd decision to harm its own people at a time when its economy is suffering the deepest crisis since the Great Depression. Any American who buys a can of beer or of soda, or a car or a bike, will suffer. In fact, the very washing machines manufactured at the Whirlpool plant, where the president made his announcement yesterday, will become more expensive for Americans and less competitive with machines produced elsewhere in the world as a result of these tariffs.
Now, here is the response from the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford. And Doug Ford, this statement too is just kind of tinged with some things that are just, in my view, also inappropriate. But Doug Ford goes, "How dare they compare us to Mexicans? We're not Mexicans here in Canada. I feel betrayed." Listen to what the Conservative leader, the Premier of Ontario, has to say. Here, play this clip.
What I found unfair about the comments is to compare us to Mexico. And I can tell you, Canada is no Mexico. We do approximately, just Ontario alone, $500 billion of two-way trade. I found his comments unfair. I found them insulting. It's like a family member stabbing you right in the heart.
And just a reminder here, this is Doug Ford back in 2016 saying that his support for Donald Trump would be unwavering. Let's play this clip.
Are you still a supporter of Donald Trump?
Absolutely. I wouldn't waver. Like the GOP's wavering, I wouldn't waver.
Here is Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau talking about the phone call that he had with Donald Trump And again, you see Justin Trudeau here trying to be productive about this, but you could obviously see that he's holding back. This is, as some people have told me, the Canadian way of saying there's going to be some real problems with the United States. Here, play this clip.
Bonjour tout le monde. I had a good call with Donald Trump last night again. We obviously talked about laying out the facts, talking about how the intense and effective connections between our two countries flow back and forth. We talked about some of the challenges that we can work on together. It was a good call. This is something that we can do, laying out the facts, moving forward in constructive ways. This is a relationship that we know takes a certain amount of working on, and that's what we'll do. One of the really important things is that we be all pulling together on this. The Team Canada approach is what works. That's where, putting aside partisanship, that's where I reached out immediately to Doug Ford to agree with him that we would have a First Ministers meeting this week to talk about the United States, talked with François Legault and some other premiers as well. There's work to do, but we know how to do it.
All right, let's get real. Who decided that wearing stiff, uncomfortable pants was the key to looking good? Seriously, every year I dread holiday events because looking sharp always came with a side of discomfort. But not anymore. This year I'm giving myself the gift of comfort and style with Public Rec's Daymaker pants. These pants are a game changer. They feel like your favorite sweats, but look like tailored dress pants. I'm talking super stretchy, breathable fabric with an elastic waistband, whether I'm lounging during a holiday movie marathon, demolishing leftovers, or, let's be honest, surviving that awkward holiday party, Daymaker pants have me covered. Give the gift of comfort to yourself or someone you love this holiday season with Public Rec's Daymaker pants. And for a limited time, you can get 20% off your entire order with code Meidas at publicrec.com. That's 20% off when you use promo code Meidas, M-E-I-D-A-S, at publicrec.com. I've been wearing Public Rec's Daymaker pants nonstop since they showed up at my door, and let me tell you, they are everything they promised to be. I took them on a recent trip, and not only were they ridiculously comfortable, but they also kept me looking sharp enough for both travel days and dinners out. I've had friends ask, where'd you get those pants? And when I tell them they're as comfy as sweats, they are blown away. The best part, Public Rec lets you pick your exact size. None of that small, medium, large nonsense. I got my perfect fit, and now I'm wondering why all pants are not made this way. Plus, with 10 colors to choose from, like navy, stone gray, and dark olive, there is something for every style. These pants are made from a proprietary blend of performance materials, so they're breathable, stretchy, and hold their shape no matter what. And while the Daymaker pants are the star of the show, Public Rec has a ton of other wardrobe essentials. Polos, hoodies, shorts, you name it. You could basically redo your whole closet with this brand. I mean, I'm currently wearing my Public Rec shirt and pants. I really can't get enough of it. Stop suffering in regular pants and give the gift of comfort this holiday season. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off when you use code Meidas at checkout. That's 20% off with the code Meidas, M-E-I-D-A-S, at publicrec.com. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight, because when comfort meets style, you have found Public Rec.
I should read you this account here. Dan G2 goes, for 8 years, Doug Ford has told us his admiration and support of Donald Trump. In 2016, he said his support of Trump would be unwavering. I showed you that clip right there. Now he says that Trump is the greatest threat to Ontario and Canada. How are we supposed to ever trust Doug Ford's judgment again? And as Stefano Barbaras writes, Doug Ford is a perfect example of how conservatives, he goes, are inferior to liberals in all things economic. This short video has Ford seem like he's disgusted at Mexicans. He goes, how dare we be compared to Mexicans? I mean, you saw that clip right there. And right here is the leader of the Conservative Party, who many have actually compared to like Canada's budding Donald Trump. This is Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada. And here he is also basically saying that these are completely unjustified tariffs. The statements by Donald Trump are completely unjustified. Let's take a look at what he says here. Play this clip.
The United States is the greatest economic and military superpower in the history of the world, and they are our neighbor. The U.S. is responsible for $1.2 trillion of our trade. We trade almost twice as much with the Americans as we trade with the rest of the world combined. Trade with the U.S. is 40% of our economy. President Trump yesterday made an unjustified threat of a 25% tariff on our already weak and shrinking economy. Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland were surprised, amazingly. Everyone else knew something like this could be coming because President Trump had been talking about it for years on the campaign trail. Yet 20 days ago, Chrystia Freeland said, "Don't worry, Canada will be fine." Apparently, neither she nor Justin Trudeau were following what the incoming president was saying.
Showing you what's going on in the United States, here is Judge Jeanine Pirro on Fox. And I just want to show you the derision and the hate that these right-wing Americans have for Canada. Canada is a major trading partner with the United States. And by the way, I know about all the Canadians who support the MeidasTouch network. We've got a huge Canadian following here. So to pick this fight with Mexico, your United States' literal biggest trading partner is Mexico. And then also Canada, its other top trading partner. And then to use the social media post language that Donald Trump did and make accusations against them when in fact, like, America's exporting, all these unlawful weapons to these countries. Here's what Judge Jeanine Pirro says on Fox. Play this clip.
Is that we get 60% of our crude oil from Canada. All right. Now, if the United States is going to be energy independent again, we have an even tougher negotiating stance with Canada because we're not going to need as much of that crude oil when we start doing our own dance here.
As this account at the transit guy, Hayden, says, "You've got to admit a majority of the country, Americans, voting for a man because the price of goods are too high, only for him to increase prices on his first day in office, has to be regarded as one of the greatest social experiments of all time." Here is actually a good segment, short clip I'll show you from CNN right here, of the panelists saying, you all realize that America relies on Canada also for oil, lumber, cement, and all these other supplies that go into American assembly lines and American factories. So we are taxing ourselves here. They're going to do retaliatory tariffs. So we're just going to screw ourselves here. Watch this.
If you voted for Trump because you thought he was going to bring down the cost of housing, a lot of our lumber, cement, other materials comes from Canada, which means that construction costs are going to go up. Not to mention all of the ways he's going to roil the U.S. auto industry, because a lot of autos cross borders in North America multiple times before they're ultimately finished and sold to consumers. Not to mention the fact that a lot of U.S. manufacturers purchase inputs, intermediate goods like metals and cement and other things from Canada, from Mexico, and not to mention even the retaliation that we should expect, all of which is going to be very bad for consumers, not to mention, again, many of the U.S. workers that Trump allegedly wants to help.
What about tequila?
Now, I did a whole other video right here about Mexico and their president, Claudia Sheinbaum. And Claudia Sheinbaum also suggesting that there would be retaliatory tariffs. And the exact language that she used is that there are pain points. And if there's going to be pain, there will be mutual pain. And she referenced in her letter to Donald Trump about how General Motors, Ford, Stellantis have factories in Mexico. And again, Mexico being the United States' biggest trade partner, the produce that comes in from Mexico, and also Claudia Sheinbaum and her party, they've done actually a very good job boosting and promoting Mexico's economy. And so that's why I think it was very unfair when Doug Ford also was like, his response was, how dare you compare us to your other neighbor, Mexico? Look, Mexico's thriving right now. Mexico's doing well. And Mexico has its own processes and systems to deal with immigration, because people come through Mexico from other South American countries to get into the United States. And so Donald Trump picking these fights against his neighbors, I mean, we're seeing, the fallout already. That's that social media post attacking your closest allies. It's shameful. Just showed it to you right there, so you can see for yourself. Thanks for watching this. Oh, let's just show you these other headlines about Doug Ford. Ford says Trump's tariff threat like a family member stabbing you in the back. He calls Trump's tariff plans the biggest threat we've ever seen. Doug Ford says Canada would have no choice but to retaliate against Donald Trump's 25% tariff. The premier also noted that Ontario alone is the largest single trading partner of 17 United States. And this is from the New Republic. Even Canada's right wing, which has been kind of mimicking a lot of that MAGA language, they are stunned by Trump's extreme tariff threat. So there you have it all. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.